The Bible isn't just a book of random stories. It's 66 different books that come together to tell one story. An incredible one. About God's love for us. And now for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of John. Chapter 20, verses 19 to 29.
Thomas stared at his friend John in disbelief.
You're joking.
Would I joke about this? The stone was gone from the entrance. The tomb was empty.
Though it was still early Sunday morning, Peter and John had just left the garden tomb where Jesus' body had been buried Friday evening. Now John was pacing the room where Jesus' friends were staying, while Peter just kept checking every window.
Do you think we were followed?
Thomas, still groggy from sleep, rubbed his eyes and tried to follow.
Hold on, there were soldiers at the tomb. What about the soldiers?
We didn't see anyone in the garden. Except Mary.
Why was Mary with you?
You didn't hear her pounding on this very door an hour ago? She was the first one to find the tomb was empty. She ran here to tell us.
Let me get this straight. Someone shoved the huge stone out of the way, someone took Jesus' body, and the Roman soldiers just ran away.
Looks like that.
But it doesn't make any sense. We're missing something.
Thomas was waking up. It was bad enough their friend and teacher had been killed, but now somebody was playing games with them.
Yeah, we're missing something. The body of our friend.
John, stop pacing, will you?
Stop checking out the window. You're making me nervous.
Sit down, both of you. What's that?
All three men squeezed in to see through a tiny window.
It's a woman. Who?
Quit elbowing me.
Mary. It's Mary.
The three men dashed for the door, and Thomas threw it open as Mary arrived on the doorstep and stopped, head down as she gasped to catch her breath.
Are you okay?
What's wrong?
They all expected to see Mary frightened or crying. But when she raised her face, she was beaming, glowing.
Mary, what is it?
I have seen the Lord.
The three men gaped. Then they exchanged some troubled glances.
Oh, it's been a rough week. You're exhausted.
Maybe you saw a gardener?
I know what I saw. Jesus is alive.
Get some rest, then we can talk.
Fine, but you'll see.
Later that evening, Peter and John, along with several of Jesus' other followers, huddled together with the door locked. They were still very confused.
What if the Jewish leaders turn on us next?
Or the Romans. They're saying we stole Jesus' body.
If we stay locked away much longer without food, we're going to starve anyway.
I'll get something to eat.
We'll lock the door behind you, so use the secret knock to let us know it's you.
This one? Gotcha. I'm out.
Thomas tried to blend in with the crowd as he bought fish and bread for his friends. He returned back as quickly as he could.
Listen, it's Thomas. Just let me in, okay?
The door flew open. Thomas was instantly met with a babble of voices.
He didn't even come through
Jesus
the door.
was here. Right over there. Told us, peace be with you.
And that he's sending us out.
And he showed us the wounds in his hands and his side.
What? Hold on, one at a time.
We have seen the Lord.
Oh, you too now?
Look, I know this is difficult, but Mary was telling the truth. It's not just one person now who's seen him. It's all of us.
Thomas took a deep breath, and then he set down the bread and fish on the table.
It's impossible.
Maybe, but it's true. You can believe it.
First, I've got to see the nail marks in his hands. I have to put my finger where the nails were and where the sword cut his side. Then, that's when I'll believe it.
Nothing the other disciples said could persuade Thomas. And since they still weren't sure what would happen next, they laid low for the entire week. And they locked their doors.
Smells like fish in here.
Well, here's an idea. Don't buy fish for dinner next time.
You asked for it.
No one made you.
Suddenly, impossibly, someone appeared in between Thomas and Peter. right in the midst of the group.
May peace be with you.
Thomas gaped. Somehow, Jesus had shown up among them. Even though the door was locked, deep scars were visible on his wrists. But he seemed radiant, more alive than anyone Thomas had ever seen before. Jesus held out his hand for Thomas.
Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe.
Thomas could hardly breathe for a moment, much less speak. At last he gasped.
My Lord and my God.
Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen me, but still have believed.
Thomas nodded, his heart beating with joy. Instead of being angered at Thomas's doubt, Jesus graciously answered all of his questions. God is bigger than all of it.